Utah versus Texas Tech is finally here. It's the biggest game week of the season yet. So what does Utah need to improve on in order to topple the Red Raiders? We're going to discuss on today's Locked On Utes.
You are Locked On Utes, your daily podcast on the Utah Utes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for making Locked On Utes your first listen and view of the day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, available wherever you get your podcasts as well as on YouTube. If it's your first time tuning into this show, make sure you like and subscribe. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. You can download the app today. My name is JT Wistrcill, excited to be joined by Philip, the Wild Ute, one of the hosts of College Football Mafia. Wild Ute, Philip, I'm going to call you Philip on the show, but Philip, this is going to be an awesome week. I can't wait for Utah to play Texas Tech this coming Saturday. It's a hype matchup, Big Noon Kickoff. We're going to get to that, talk about Big Noon Kickoff. We're going to talk about this matchup a little bit, how we think it favors Utah, maybe at least this earlier in the week. But first, I want to really focus on Utah because I don't think based on how this team looked in Wyoming, we can just move off it and say, like, no, they're good. Like, I have no concerns going into this game against Tech. This is not going to be a cakewalk game for Utah, not just because of how good Tech is, but because this Utah team, as every team in the country is still trying to grow and become the best version of itself. And they clearly need to play better, especially than they did in the first half, Philip, if they want to beat Texas Tech on Saturday.
It's Laramie, JT. It's Laramie. It's Laramie. Wyoming is a crazy place to play. It's always been a tough road game for Utah. And going to Laramie, Wyoming, I've been looking at this game for many years and stuff on the schedule. It blew my mind why Utah would even play this football game. I'm shocked that we even played the game. The fact that we even won the game is good enough. I don't care what the result is. It's freaking hard to win up there. It gets weird. It's windy. It's cold. You saw people have like sweatshirts on and everything. It looked like almost some snow was falling already. Like, this is crazy stuff up there. So I'm not as concerned about the first half performance for Utah. Like, let's just talk about it for a second. You fumble the ball on the 5 freaking yard line, right? Like, that is un-Utah-like. You missed 3 field goals in the first half. That is un-Utah-like. Weird stuff happened, but you move the ball, piece of cake, like a knife through butter, move the ball all down the field, right? Running the ball, even passing the ball. The yards were insane for the football game. There's no major concerns. Just we shot ourselves in the foot. We got to clean that up and everything, but it's not nearly as concerning as some people are making it.
I would agree with that. Like, I still think there were some concerns. Like, one thing, like, Philip, I am concerned with the kicking game right now. Like, Dylan Curtis is a true freshman. You want to talk about, like, non-freshman? Like, I know they call him Legzilla and everything. That is an incredibly high-pressure situation he's going to be in this coming Saturday. Big Noon Kickoff, Fox, this premier time slot where the entire country will be watching. This will be by far Utah's most viewed game of the season so far. To me, this is the second best time slot you can have in college football. Maybe you could argue also the 3:30 ABC slot. I think the 7:30 ABC slot's the best one, but noon it's premier. I mean, Ohio State, Michigan's played there. This is a big deal. So I am a little concerned about the kicking game. I want to continue to see this offense execute stronger as well. Just some of the penalties. 7 penalties in back. This Utah team's had a lot of penalties these last few weeks. So Utah's fine. Like, I think Utah's going to win against Texas Tech. That shouldn't surprise anyone who's listening to this show. I've been saying that for a while now, but I do think they got to play better and clean some stuff up, including continuing to grow those connections on the outside, because there have been some misses. Like, we're still waiting on Tobias Merriweather to be that dominant force. I don't know if he's going to be Philip by the time Tech rolls into town on Saturday.
You got to figure out this long passing game. We tried it versus Wyoming, tried to go to Merriweather multiple times. It just wasn't quite there yet, JT. It really is, at this point, the Achilles heel of this Utah team is the long passing game. Look, this team is so good on third down conversion. I don't think that a field goal kicker is going to impact the season in a tremendous way. I really don't. I think that we're going to convert a ton on third downs going forward. I think that we'll go for it a bunch on fourth downs. I don't think we'll be kicking many field goals this year, and we shouldn't. After what we just saw and everything, we've got the team to convert. We've got one of the best offensive lines in the nation. Devin Dampier, Parker, Rogers, give me a break. If it's short yardage, go for it every freaking time. Why are we even thinking about kicking field goals? Less than like the most dire circumstance. So it's just not as concerning. But the long passing game, like you said, and the penalties on the offensive line, holding, even on Fano. I have no idea what's going on with these penalties. Some of them seemed a little ticky-tack.
Agreed.
A lot of ticky-tack. right? But still, like, it's 2 games in a row where there's just a slew of penalties after you played a clean game versus UCLA. That is the most glaring probably issue going into the Texas Tech game. Can you clean up the penalties and play a clean game? You need to if you want to win the football game.
You know what's fascinating about this game to me is Utah and Tech are going into week 3 of the college football season. I don't think they have played in some, like, Wyoming is not an easy place to play. That's by far the toughest atmosphere that either team has had to play in. But it's kind of funny that I don't know if either team has really played, like, Utah kind of challenged themselves in a way just with how they played in the first half, but neither team's played a good team yet for my money. Like, Wyoming is not going to be a top 5 Mountain West team to me. It's hard to win in Laramie, but that offense is not good. Like, the Utah defense was incredible. Caden Anderson, I mean, they were picked to finish 10th in the Mountain West. I think they'll be maybe a little better than that, but I don't see them cracking the top 5. UCLA right now is probably one of the 3 worst Power 4 teams in the country. It's still impressive to go up there and win like Utah did, but they just fired Deshaun Foster because they've lost to UNLV and New Mexico. So it's also just really interesting, Philip, that we're going into this game, and as a reminder for like what Tech has done, Tech has not played anyone of note. AR, Pine Bluff, Kent State is a brutal bad MAC team. Oregon State even, and Oregon State's a mess. Their coach is cussing about their special teams because they're so bad. Like, this is what these teams have on their resume so far. So it is interesting to me what a leap up in competition that this is for both sides.
And a 4-point spread. It's close. Utah is favored by 4 points in betting markets. That actually creeped up a half point today. So really the early money is on Utah. We'll see what the late money movement is. This is by far the toughest matchup for both teams. Of course, this is like, JT, I'm serious about this. Like, as a diehard Ute supporter and fan, I think this is the biggest game since the Penn State Rose Bowl for Utah.
Bigger than Florida? I
think so. Because this game right here is going to shape the rest of the season. It's conference play. Utah fell flat after beating Oklahoma State last year and going 4-0. Remember, we were 4-0 and ranked in the top 15 after beating Oklahoma State. Then we lost so many games straight, and you almost lost the whole rest of the season. This game right here is a perception builder. Big Noon really is the premier game of the week and stuff. Ratings wise, it frequently gets over 4 million viewers. Sometimes it gets 10 million viewers with the right matchup and stuff. But Utah typically doesn't have this type of spotlight on them. It's a massive opportunity. It's going to be a hard fought game. Even teams in a lot of ways. Different teams, but pretty even teams. And that's why the spread says it's 3.5 to 4 points, because, you know, on a neutral field, this would be basically a pick 'em game.
It would be. And I mean, look at this matchup. Like, Philip, I think these are easily 2 of the 3 best teams in the Big 12, right? Wouldn't you agree with that? I think 100%. It's a clear top 3 right now. Like, to me, it's clearly Iowa State, Utah, Tech. I would have Utah on top of that, but like, if anyone has Iowa State or Tech there, like, I'm fine with that. Tech, I just have questions because as much as Utah hasn't played anyone, at least they went on the road and beat a P4 team. There's actually something really interesting with Texas Tech, and it's the fact they haven't gone on the road at all this season. We're going to dive a little more into this matchup in a moment, but Philip, isn't that kind of crazy to not even challenge yourself at all with a single road game yet this point into the season?
I love it. Come to Utah right now. And and JT, like, look, I know that, like, hey, we support everybody from the Locked In Podcast Network, but there's some crazy stuff that was said last week about how quiet that Locked On folks might think that Utah Stadium's going to be with the 10 a.m. kickoff. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so juiced. Texas Tech hasn't played a road game, like you just mentioned. You have no idea how juiced the stadium is going to be. The fans are buzzing. It's exciting. I'm freaking going to get to my seats like 8:30 a.m., JT. That's how excited I am, and I'm going to freaking cheer. I want to lose my voice in the first half, just like everybody else. They have no idea what's coming to them. Seriously, they have no idea how difficult it is to go into Rice-Eccles and win. We are going to bring it. It's a huge disadvantage to not playing an away game yet. That is such an advantage that a lot of Tech fans are discounting. Look, Rice-Eccles Stadium is one of the hardest places in the freaking world to win it. Seriously, like in college football, that's why you see it in all the games and everything, and ranked as one of the top 20 stadiums and everything based on pulse, how crazy it is and stuff. It's hard to win at Rice-Eccles Stadium. If Tech thinks they're going to come in here and just mop Utah, that ain't going to happen. There's no freaking way that's going to happen. So can't wait for it on Saturday.
I can't wait for Saturday either, man. And I'm so fired up to talk about this matchup. We finally get to. We're going to talk about that and just the atmosphere that the Raiders are going to be walking into, because it's not going to be a cakewalk. Utah versus Tech. We're breaking it down in a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Utes is brought to you by our great friends at the Game Cap. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I am so fired up for this Saturday's game, but I want to have that perfect hat that I can wear as well, too. And just a quick question for all of you out there. Don't you wish you could go back in time and get that truly classic hat that you had when you were sitting front row at your school's biggest rivalry game? I mean, what hat would you be wearing? Yes, I said hat. I mean, for me, it would be a game hat, because the game hats, they aren't just hats. They're the same vintage styles fans wore back in the 80s and 90s. And guess what? They still go for the same price they did back then. When you use code Locked On, that's all caps, no spaces, Locked On, one word, you will get a vintage hat for just $16.99. Go to other hat stores, see how much hats are nowadays. That is one heck of a deal. You can head to thegamecaps.com, that's thegamecaps.com, and use that code Locked On, all caps, to grab your team's classic bar or retro circle design using the code Locked On for exclusive discount, because legends wear the game, and so can you when you head over to thegame.com. Today's episode of Locked On Utes also brought to you by our great friends at 5 Hour Energy. It's going to be an early kickoff this upcoming Saturday, so if you need an extra boost to get you going, 5 Hour Energy has you covered, because their caffeine, it just got a flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy. Their shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. What I love most is how portable they are, right? Big taste, tiny shots. You can take it anywhere and get the boost when you need it. I mean, for me, it's hey, if I'm trying to get through a golf course, right? I mean, it's a long day on the course. You need the extra boost. 5 Hour Energy's got you there. How about just the work day, right? I mean, and we watch football all weekends. We got to get up early. We head into work on Mondays. 5 Hour Energy has your back. Get you through your workout. 5 Hour Energy has you covered. Enough with the boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy shots. Get to your favorites you love, and be bold and try something new in store and online at www.5hourenergy.com or on Amazon today. Rice-Eccles Stadium is one of the best atmospheres in college football, like you said, Philip, and I think it's going to be still absolutely electric. It's an early kickoff. I get that. Will it be probably as it was as a night game? Maybe not, but maybe not a kickoff. But I tell you what, if this is a good game, it's still going to be pretty loud and still going to be pretty crazy. Philip, I still remember that UCLA game from a couple years ago. Dante Moore. He actually looks. I got to give Dante Moore some Moore's flowers, by the way. He's actually done pretty well with Oregon right now. But man, when UCLA came up during the day and played at Salt Lake City, Utah only won that game like 14-7. But the UCLA offense couldn't do anything, and part of the reason is that ruckus environment that is Rice-Eccles Stadium. And we'll talk about some of the other factors that go in Utah's favor with just the location of this game. But the fans are going to be energized, and they're going to be ready to roll, Philip.
Give me 2 5-hour energies before this football game, JT. Bring everybody else, bring that 5-hour energy. Seriously, we need some juice and everything, because, look, 10 a.m. is unusual. I can't remember ever watching a Utah football game at 10 a.m. Would I like this game?
Colorado last year, right? Philip, Colorado last year?
Oh, yeah, you know what? That's right. But that was at Colorado last year.
Yes, that was at.
Yeah,
that was at. Yeah, yes. And Big Noon as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the first time that I could ever remember a home game at 10 a.m., which Whittingham, of course, loves and everything. But look, yes, our folks going to be a little bit sleepy. Maybe they'll wake up, though. They'll wake up soon, because guess what? Big Noon's going to be there at 8 a.m., juicing up the crowd. I think that people realize how big a game this is. And so you get in there, you go nuts, give it everything you've got, make it the home field advantage that we know it can be. And I think that it won't be a big issue. Texas Tech thinks it's going to be an advantage, this 10 a.m. kickoff. I just don't think so. I think that the crowd is going to be juiced. This game means everything. It's a must-win game. It's possibly a tiebreaker for the Big 12 title down the line. We'll see how the season develops. This is how big this football game. You have to win it for Utah. You do. It's a home game. You got to get it done. Everybody knows the importance. Primetime TV, seriously, just talking about some of the keys to this too, JT, really, crowd noise is one of the keys to the game. Plenty of penalties, get them into third down. And I know we're going to break this down more and stuff, but really the crowd needs to show up a ton for this game.
This game being at 10 a.m. Utah time is, I guess, something for Tech, but they have a lot of things they should be concerned about going into this game. Number one, as I mentioned in the last segment, the fact that this team has not played in a road game is crazy. I also believe that Utah has played maybe 2 teams better than them. I think it's an argument about where Oregon State, Wyoming, UCLA, all those fall, but there's no doubt to me it is some combination of those 3. And also, at least Utah has hit some adversity on the road. I think it's good to hit adversity. That's the other thing. Utah has things they need need to work on and improve on, at least Utah has an idea what some of their issues are. When you play cupcakes like Texas Tech has, you don't really know. You know what else you don't really know? How your team's going to react when they get punched in the mouth and they're really thrown into the fire. You want to be thrown into the fire? Number one, Rice-Eccles Stadium crowd. Amped up because, like you said, Philip, you got Big Noon Kickoff earlier in the day. Number two, altitude. How many teams have we seen come in to Salt Lake City and they make more penalties and more mistakes? Because what happens when you're fatigued, you make more penalties and you have more mistakes. Teams get fatigued a lot playing in the altitude. That's another thing. You know what else can lead to that? When you don't have that chemistry with your teammates going back year after year. This is such a new group of Texas Tech players. This is the first game I think we see that show up. I think Morgan Scalley is going to be in his blitz bag coming into this one. Tech offensive line's got some talent, but there are some new pieces in there. This is not a group that's played. They've only played their few games together. They didn't even get to go through all the spring ball together. I have questions about how they're going to hold up, and I think they are going to be the more penalized team in this game because it is such a jump up in competition, because it is the fact that they are playing in altitude and all these new pieces together. Tech's good, but I think there's a lot of things and factors outside of the X's and O's matchup that favor Utah going into Saturday's game.
Absolutely. Here's a couple big ideas, JT. Tell me what you think about these, okay? Big idea for Utah, okay? This is the Utah big idea. Make it heavy, meaning offensive line dominating in the trenches. Yeah. Make it physical, big hits, physicality, Utah football, and make it suffocating. That means pressure, blitzing, John Henry Daly, baby, going after Barrett Morton. Ooh, he's nice. And then also with the crowd amplified and the crowd volume, make it heavy, make it physical, and make it suffocating. Big idea for Utah, okay? On the other side, we got to talk about Texas Tech too. What's their big idea? What do they want out of this football game too? And Texas Tech, they want to make it fast. They want a track meet. They've got explosive players at wide receiver. They've got 5 wide receivers that have over 100 receiving yards this year. Seriously, like they are deep.
We cannot relate.
Right. It's like, it's almost like the exact opposite, like makeup in a lot of ways offensively, but they're going to want to make it fast, explosives. They want to make it wide, getting the speed guys at wide receiver the ball vertically, horizontally too. And they want to make it chaotic, turnovers, big plays, explosives. So their big ideas, make it fast, make it wide, and make it chaotic. We cannot let that happen. We cannot let that happen. Don't turn the ball over. Win the turnover margin. Crowd, come play. Take away the big play. And I think Utah's going to be fun in this football game.
I think so too. It's going to be a battle, though. You mentioned a little bit about what makes this Texas Tech team so strong. They haven't played anyone really, but there's a reason they are still ranked. I mean, they look really good. Let's also not forget, there's a reason I think Utah's getting them at a good time because of how early in the season it still is for those transfer portal pieces coming together. This is a juggernaut. It's a top 3 transfer portal class. It's an incredibly talented team that is capable of coming into Salt Lake City and getting win. Morton is a very good quarterback. His issue has always just been health, but he's been healthy so far to start the year, but he can light it up over 900 yards passing, nearly 1,000. They do not have a standout running back. Their top running back actually got hurt during fall camp. I believe Utah has 2 backs that are actually better than their top guys right now, but the pass catching department is where they have lots of guys. They have a talented tight end and Carter Jr., Ekin as a receiver, Douglas as well too, right? They have lots of wide receivers I look at and I go, okay, that's going to be an interesting thing for Utah too, is if you do blitz, you better get home, because Utah has asked Smith Snowden, Elijah Davis, and as well as Blake Cotton to sit out on just an island sometimes. And that is a lot easier to do based on how you've seen so far, and then now when you get by far the most accurate quarterback we've seen. Nico was tough to tackle. There's a reason their UCLA is 0-3. Part of it is his accuracy. It's going to be a lot tougher to do that on an island against these receivers. So I do think offensively that'll be interesting to see for Utah, because there's some talented players. So how does, like you mentioned, how does the defensive line get home? Can you get home with 4? I feel like Utah will be able to stop the run, but it'll be 3rd and long. Like, it's not like 3rd and long. Tech is going to be okay getting into 3rd and long. And defensive side of the ball, it's going to be a battle. I mean, their defensive line has a ton of potential NFL draft picks on it. David Bailey, the Stanford transfer, being one of them. Our offensive line does. That's one of the best on best matchups the Big 12 has to offer. Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker, he's really good. I'm excited to see how he's able to tackle Devin Dampier, Wayshawn Parker in one-on-one spots. And a pretty talented secondary too. It's a talented Tech team, but there are a lot of things, as we talked about earlier, going for Utah. One of those also being the tough competition that Utah has played. And I do still feel really good about the fact that a lot of this Utah team has continuity, even if that's as much as like Devin Dampier, Ryan Davis, and Jason Beck, Kawhi Rodgers all being together last year. Still gives them an advantage over a lot of these teams that are coming together this late.
We'll see what Tech does when they get punched, right? They're going to get punched in this
Yeah.
football game, of course. Utah, they get an early start. It's going to be very interesting to see what Tech does and stuff, especially if the crowd gets in it. A lot of penalties, false starts on the Tech side. I can tell you this, JT, though, Baron Morton. Okay, the guy has an explosive arm. He is serious. That's the quarterback for Texas Tech. He can throw that football down there, and they can get explosives all the time. His Achilles heel, though, is pressure. Like you have to get pressure. He's not a true dual threat quarterback. He can take it and run a little bit, but that's just not his focus. He's not Dampier at all. So you have to get home. You have to send exotic blitzes out there, and you've got to hit him. You've got to play physical football, Utah football. If Utah can get to Morton, that's going to be one of the main keys of the football game. Getting pressure, crowd noise right there, make it hard, bring that adversity. But I just think that you really need to put him like sacks, quarterback hits, and everything, and make it super physical with him specifically, because they're going to be trying to throw the football. And if Utah gets up early, they're going to throw it all around the field and make him erratic, make him nervous. That has to happen, much like Dante Moore with UCLA a couple years ago. Different players. Moore, that was like his first true road star as a freshman. Barrett Morton has played a lot of football, but when quarterbacks get hit, they get erratic and everything. And Utah has to do it, figure out ways. If it's Logan Fano, if it's John Henry Daly, if it's blitzes, if it's Spartan, it doesn't matter how you get it. Just hit the quarterback. That's super important in this game.
If this was 7-on-7, I might be more concerned. But it's not. It's football. And Utah has better talent in the trenches to me, as good as Texas Tech, some of their guys are. Also, Utah to me, like Baron Morton, 7-on-7, he's probably going to put up better numbers than Devin Dampier. But this is football. Baron Morton might be a little more accurate, but the difference in the accuracy gap between these two, nowhere near as large as the athleticism. Devin Dampier, capable of buying time, scrambling, being used in the quarterback run game too. And he is obviously just electric player to watch. The touchdown to Larry Simmons has been on replay. Every highlight reel you could basically find. Like Utah's got a guy QB. I still think they have the best quarterback in this game. And on top of a lot of the other talent that Utah has, I think that favors Utah in this matchup a lot. Let's also not forget this Utah team. When I know this is a bit of a trying to find the right word for it, but like an exact stat, but it's just true. When this Utah team has had their projected starting quarterback at the beginning of the season, starting at home, they haven't lost a true home game since 2017. The last home game they lost against that Oregon team was Bryson Barnes. All the home losses last year were Isaac Wilson. When the starting quarterback's been the guy, Utah still has one of the best home field winning percentages in college football. And because they've been so good this season, they're going to get Big Noon Kickoff. How significant is that for this game, the Big 12, and the university itself? We're going to tell you in one moment. Today's episode of Locked On Utes brought to you by our great friends at Prize Picks. The daily fantasy sports app where making the right call can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right means cashing in. With football back, Prize Picks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes all in less than 60 seconds. You know, who do you think is going to go off this week in the NFL, right? We just had a great Sunday action too, but we're going to see Justin Herbert later taking on the Raiders. Is Geno Smith going to have a day? You can do things like more or less 270 passing yards for a Josh Allen on any given week. That's what Prize Picks allows you to do. So you can head over and download the Prize Picks app today and use the code LOCKEDONCollege. That's all caps, no spaces, to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONCollege, all caps, no spaces, for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right with Prize Picks. Today's show also brought to you by our great friends at FanDuel Sportsbook. The NFL season is here, and we know college football is as well, and FanDuel is the best place to get ready for each and every Sunday and Saturday kickoffs. Can't miss offers. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits however you like to bet. I mean, whether it's player props, building a same-game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds, that's what FanDuel has to offer. It's quick, easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to Sundays or Saturdays too. How do you think this week in the Big 12 is going to shake out? Do you think Ute makes a statement against Texas Tech? How about in the NFL? Is your team going to bring home the dub? You can head over on FanDuel to cash in on the action. Are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet at FanDuel today. We've known for a bit now that it was going to be a noon kickoff. But we did not know for sure, and I think they were waiting to make sure there wasn't going to be some crazy upset for Utah or Tech if the pregame show was coming. We always knew we were getting our guy Joel Klatt, Death Taxes Utah football. Love Joel Klatt for what he always hypes up Utah. Gus Johnson, Jenny Tapp. That crew was coming. We didn't know if the pregame show was going to be there, and it is official. Urban Meyer will be coming back to Utah along with the rest of the Big Noon crew this Saturday. I love having these pregame shows on campus. They show off your college, your atmosphere, your football passion. I think this is a massive win for Utah to still get, is it college game day? No, it's not. Is it still one of the best pregame shows in sports? It absolutely is. I'm fired up for the campus.
Well, why didn't we get college game day? Because Big Noon got ahead of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, we all know that Fox and ESPN don't really get along too well and everything, so they don't want to be at the same location. Look, this could have been a game day location too, but Big Noon got way ahead of it a week in advance and everything. So we're excited. Big Noon's here because check it out, JT. Big Noon really is the best, like the biggest ratings that come any given week typically come from Big Noon. And like it's 3 times to 4 times the national exposure TV ratings wise as Utah typically gets. So this, like, all the nation's eyes will be on this game. It's the best game of the week. And like it's facing off with, I'm going to say this, okay, the 2 villains of the Big 12 conference.
I agree with that.
Utah, look, I don't feel like a villain myself as a fan and everything, but everybody else out there tells me all the time that, hey, Utah's a villain and everything. Utah this, Utah that. We know that everyone thinks of Utah as a villain, at least in the Big 12 communities. Guess who was the prior villain of the Big 12?
Tech, and even right now they should be with the money they're doing, what they got going on NIL-wise.
Yep. So you're facing off the 2 villains. There's juice to this game. I think because of that aspect, there's an edge and there's just a juiciness to this matchup that people feel in the Big 12 circles. They'll see nationally. Urban Meyer will be back. Cody Campbell, you billionaire booster for Texas Tech. He's coming out to the football game. Everybody's going to be there. So if you are going to the game, get there freaking early and root your butt off because it's huge. This is the biggest game, again, that Utah's had in years, in my opinion, and it's a must-win exposure-wise. Utah's got to get it done. If they play Utah football, they can win this football game.
I totally agree. And I'm just so excited too that the party for this game, as you mentioned, it doesn't just start at, yes, it's 10 a.m. I know it's early, but I'm also someone where I wait all day for these games. I'm fired up to have it early. I like not having to wait as long. I understand the tailgating aspect and all of that. I'm willing to sacrifice that for one game to be on what you just said, Philip, is arguably the game with the best national exposure. That's massive for this group. And the party starts as well too early. I think that does Big Noon go 2 hours before? I don't know if they go 3 hours before, but literally, like you said, 8 a.m., right, Philip? Like they're going to be there on campus. You'll have Mark Ingram firing up the crowd, running around out there too. We already talked about Urban as well. Like all these guys hyping up Utah football, talking about this brand. Kyle Whittingham will be on too. Like it's just, this is a massive opportunity for the university. It could be a celebration of Utah football for at least 2 hours in the morning, maybe even 3 hours if Utah comes in and takes care of business against Texas Tech.
And it's a thing to come to. If you win this football game, just imagine with upcoming bangers versus Arizona State in the Holy War. JT, this Holy War game this year, down the line, if you win, could be absolutely massive. And so the opportunity down the line for more exposure for our Utes and building the brand like we need to do and just grow this Utah community, get bigger and bigger, it's huge. You got to win these football games. Get there early again. I think the Big Noon setup is going to be right there next to the Smith's Tailgate tent, Guardsman, 4 South, that corner right there. Get there 2 hours before the game, 8 a.m. Mountain Time. That's when they start. Go right there. Go support them. Let's juice it up real early.
Real early. Let's get it rolling. And then the question is, Philip, does Utah win on Saturday?
I think Utah plays Utah football, meaning that they're going to make it heavy, make it physical, and make it suffocating. And I think they're going to control the trenches. Seriously, Texas Tech has some of the best defensive line play. You mentioned it before, JT, in the whole nation. I think Utah puts Fano and enforces their will on that defensive line over the course of the game. The altitude will matter. The crowd noise will matter. And eventually we get this running game going on. We get big busts and everything. Utah pulls away and wins this football game by 7 to 10 points.
Ooh, I like it. I like it a lot. And I'm feeling good about Utah too. I mean, this is locked on Utah. I should know that by this point. I like Utah. So, and especially in games like this, I talked about this on the show last night. Like I don't try to be a homer. I try to call it like I see it. Well, I follow this Utah team a lot. Texas Tech's a very talented team. They are capable of coming in and beating Utah, but I don't think that's going to happen. I feel good about this Utah team. We're going to continue to talk about the matchup all week long. But Philip, if people want more college football talk, where do they need to head over to?
College Football Mafia, Realignment, College Football News, and Utah Utes all the time.
Appreciate you coming on, Philip. Always a blast, man. Thank you.
Thanks, JT.
That's going to do it for Locked On Utes today. Appreciate you all for joining in on our show. If you're in the market for a second listen, Locked On College Football, Locked On Big 12 have you covered. Thank you again for making Locked On Utes your first listen and view of the day, and we'll be back with you tomorrow.